Welcome back to another episode of Not Just Another Story. This week we've got Jermaine Francois, is that how you pronounce it?
Got it. Spot on, mate.
Yes. Took us a while, I've been practicing that one. Jermaine's joining us today, so just diving right into the episode, mate. If you can just give the audience at home just a brief overview of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, cool. So I'm Jermaine. I basically have a few online businesses in the digital marketing space. Been in the game now for like 4 years, since like just before COVID. Backstory was in the whole promo scene. That's how we kind of crossed paths. Went to uni, barely went to uni. Pretty much just worked through uni in the promo scene. Learned a lot about sales and that. But yeah, now basically just running online business full time.
Excellent. So just got a few obviously notes here, and then one of your probably I would say main things that you post about is the OFM and the
Yeah.
agency as well as the academy. So just for those listening, who is it, like what exactly is OFM, so OnlyFans management, and how is it that you kind of got into that like niche?
Yeah, so OFM is pretty much just a marketing agency working with creators, OnlyFans creators, right? It's got such a bad name in the industry. Guys in the industry don't help themselves, call themselves pimps and all that kind of shit. It's just basically a marketing agency offering marketing services to a specific client, which is just OnlyFans creators.
Yeah.
And we pretty much like run the whole process for these creators. They kind of just create the content that we advise. And then in return, like we take like a commission split of the earnings on the accounts, right?
Yeah.
I kind of fell into that. I have like a marketing agency, a paid ads, e-commerce agency as well, which is the first thing I started 4 years ago. And I fell into OFM basically. I had a model that I knew from Newcastle actually, who was pretty much asking me to try her OF account and to try to like grow it through marketing because I always post results no matter what industry I was in. And she was seeing all my results, how much I was making e-commerce brands. She said, just try it in the OnlyFans space. I turned it down for about 6 months. And then I thought, you know what, why not? Let me just try it out. And then it went really well, pretty much. Like unexpectedly well compared to an ecom brand. Obviously
Yeah.
selling completely two different things. But I just basically applied marketing principles in the OF space. And it just really took off with earnings. And I kind of just documented and ran with it ever since.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That that's a good way to get into it because it's kind. You wouldn't really think that's how it all started either, is it? Like the scale that you're on now, you would have thought like it was something that you kind of learned the trade of, not kind of cross like using like your skills and cross skilling into that kind of niche and area.
Mhm.
So, how long was it like until you set your own agency up?
With OFM,
Yeah, OFM, yeah,
yes, I was doing paid ads, e-commerce for 3 years, and then no, 2.5 years, and then 2 years ago, it's like end of 2022, is
yeah,
when I got into OFM basically.
OFM.
Yeah, so I didn't wake up one morning and think I'm going to do OFM. It was just like this model was continuously like messaging me for like six
Yeah,
months. Eventually, I was just like, why not? What's the worst that's going to happen? And
yeah.
then went into it from there.
So, just away from the OFM from a minute, the first agency you mentioned, is that the Info Marketing, is it?
In Vogue Marketing, yeah. We
Yeah,
basically run like Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads for like e-commerce brands.
right.
In a nutshell.
So, don't know if you can say, but any of like big name brands that anyone else will be aware of, or
Not big name brands. They're pretty much small to medium sized businesses, like
right?
businesses doing like 50, 60K a month. We pretty much just came in, run their marketing,
Yeah,
charge them a retainer and a commission, and then just pretty much did that for them end to end.
yeah,
Now a lot of our clients are in the Middle East, so that's like our niche within that agency. So
yeah,
like 90% of people won't even have a clue what those brands are. But that's where the money is. So I kind of just followed it.
yeah. Of
Same
course.
thing actually. Accidentally signed a brand in Saudi, got really great results, and then they referred us, and then we just ran on some ads there and basically
Yeah,
scaling over there.
yeah. Great way to grow, though, isn't it? Like through word of mouth, especially if it's like from like high end networks as well.
For sure, for sure. I think if you can like do a good service for a stranger, because a lot of people
Yeah,
say word of mouth and just kind of try to get their friends to buy and shit like that. It only works to a certain extent. If you can
yeah,
do it with strangers and they refer you to their networks, that's like the most powerful thing because that's just
yeah.
like infinite. You know what I mean?
especially in that sort of niche as well, because that's probably just opened like a whole new like gateway and pathway into different earnings as well, with brands that you probably would have never crossed paths with as well if you didn't accidentally fall into that one like business.
100%. And like you've probably seen, and everyone's shipping out to Dubai now. Everyone's going to
Yeah,
Saudi now since the football. So it's like that whole industry now is kind of booming,
yeah.
especially with e-commerce. Um, and we just kind of found our competitive edge out there pretty much.
Just before you like obviously everyone started moving to Dubai and things because it's like quite popular now, especially with people who are in things like sales and like you see a lot of influencers and that moving over, which is making it even more popular. Were you like kind of just starting to take off in that space just before all that trend, and then it's just kind of helped elevate, or was it like roughly about the same sort of time?
With In Vogue, you mean, or with OFM
In
stuff?
in Vogue, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, with In
Like
Vogue,
in the Middle East, like were you like kind of ahead of the curve for everybody else moving to Dubai and stuff like that, or was it kind of like roughly the same time?
yeah. Most of our clients aren't actually people like they aren't actually Westerners that have moved across. They're like
Mm.
actual businesses that have been there
Yeah.
and just never really scaled online.
All right.
So we've pretty much just been working with like local businesses out there, e-commerce brands, but like people that have lived there that are
Sick.
looking to scale to the Western world, so outside of Dubai to UK, Europe, US.
Right.
So they're not really people moving across. I think it was good timing because there's not many agencies that just specifically work with clients in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And we just like stacked our case studies out there. So now we're like one of not that many agencies out there that are working pretty much with Middle Eastern brands. But yeah,
Yeah. No, that's good because obviously a lot of competitors in the UK, they probably wouldn't even think about like even trying that sort of area either. They'll probably think UK, Europe,
yeah.
maybe like the Americas, but probably solely like Europe and things. And I think with marketing agencies these days as well, it's like such a there's a lot of companies, but only a select few actually are like really, really good at what they do.
So many, so many. Like every Tom, Dick, and Harry with an online business has like an agency. Now it's
Yeah.
like OFM. Like now every freaking kid that watched Tate has an OFM agency all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Because they're very like low barrier entry businesses. Like it doesn't cost that much.
Right.
So you get loads of people starting, but loads of people quitting very,
Yeah.
very quickly. But yeah.
I mean, that takes us like on one of our next points. So with you saying like a lot of people start, and that's something that you actually help like people do as well now, isn't it? Is it Only Astra Academy that you've set up?
Yeah, so that was pure accident. I never planned to have a program. Again, everything just kind of transcended really weirdly. Like I didn't plan for any of this. But yeah, in the Astro Academy, pretty much, because I documented my journey on YouTube with OFM, because I thought I've always wanted a personal brand.
Yeah.
And Chico and some of the guys in Newcastle tell you, I used to have a YouTube channel just doing pranks, TikTok, just doing stupid shit. I was just
Yeah.
trying to go viral, but I didn't know what. I was just trying to just do anything to go viral.
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting paid for it. But looking back now, I was learning this skill of being in front of a camera.
Yeah.
I just didn't find my niche. And then I got into the OFM space when there's probably like one or two other guys on YouTube, and I was like the third.
Yeah.
And then I just started documenting my journey on YouTube, like how I signed models, how we're getting results. And then I had loads of people asking like how we were doing it. And then I was just replying to a couple of DMs, and then every few weeks I just kept compounding and compounding. I was like, shit, I might as well just put this into a program,
Yeah.
answer everyone's questions in one, plus make a community. And that's how that kind of came about.
Yeah.
I never really wanted to be a call seller or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like my agencies are like my core business, but then that just kind of came, like it just made sense, really.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm getting a trend here with a lot of accidents, mate.
Mate, it is. It's weird as shit now I'm actually saying it out loud, but yeah, it just all flowed weirdly.
But it's like a domino effect, really. I think like anyone who's successful, it like they'll take like a long time for them to kind of get there, but once it does, it kind of like all just kind of happens all at once for them, and it's like you say, it was personal branding, and then you just start getting more questions, and then in a sense, you've kind of done what you do now for free to begin with, because you've just been answering queries like on comments, DMs, stuff like that, and
Exactly,
then
yeah.
your business brains just thought, one, you don't have, if you do this, you can make an income. Two, if you do this, you don't have to answer the same question like hundreds of times either. So it's a win-win for everybody, really.
For sure. That's literally what it was. Like guys asked me the exact same questions daily. And I was like, I couldn't respond. I was getting a lot of DMs. It's slowed down a lot now, but I was getting a lot of DMs at the time because OFM
Yeah.
was very new. This is like back end of 2022. And my YouTube content was very shit back then, like very amateur, Canva-based thumbnails, just stickers and shit. Like it was very bad, but I think it was
Yeah.
very raw. And I was just documenting. And then from that, yeah, just loads of questions came in. And then I thought if I built a community around it where people just talk back and front, because online business is a very lonely space. That's one
Yeah.
thing I've learned. Like I don't have a co-founder or anything I do.
Yeah.
So it can be a very, very lonely place. So I thought like having a community like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we've kind of built it ever since.
Yeah.
And off the back of that, another accident, one-to-one mentorship came from that
Right.
because I had a group of people, I think like 400 or 500 people in the Only Astro group now. And then that gives them like a good A to Z foundation program plus community on how to grow and get to your first couple K in the OFM space.
Yeah.
Then had guys that did that and got to like 4 or 5K and they're like, shit, we want to hit 20, 30, 40. Do you do one-to-one? I was like, no, but I can.
Yeah.
I had some spare time. And that's how like the one-to-one stuff and consulting came about,
Yeah.
which has been a bigger focus over the last kind of 6 months. But
Yeah.
again, fell into that. It just wasn't planned at all.
Yeah, there'll be something in another 6 months that crops up that you'll fall
Probably.
into. But it'll just
Probably,
be
yeah.
consistently like that now.
For sure. For sure. For
Uh,
sure.
just with sticking with the academy for now. What? So, say somebody like myself who doesn't really have a clue about the industry, stuff like that, comes across your platform, enjoys your content, everything like that, and then reaches out to join the academy. How is it? How not? I would don't like to use the word easy because nothing's easy, but how is like how I'm going to use it easy is it for them to kind of build their own brand and like kind of get models, creators, stuff like that in with their own portfolio?
Yeah, for sure. So right now in the space, it's probably the easiest time to sign models. In 6 months to a year's time, it's probably going to get more difficult because more agencies.
Yeah.
Right now, there's like loads of models and not enough agencies. So like the balance is like this. So to sign a model now is probably the easiest it's ever been. To really scale a model is the harder part. That's what the academy kind of does. It gives like the more technical side of things on how to like brand a model in a niche, how to go viral on platforms, how to do certain chatting strategies, how to structure the account.
Yeah.
So how easy it is hard to say, but if someone puts a consistent amount of effort daily to get to 4 or 5K per month, which is more than most people make full time, you can do that in a couple of months. It's just most people quit before they even get it going.
Yeah, it's like anything kind of, like the return of investment, what you put in is essentially what you'll get out as well.
Exactly right. Like I've worked with a bunch of new start guys, bunch of agencies. They come in, testosterone all flying, and then it gets to a month and it gets a little bit hard, and they just move on to freaking drop shipping or something else. Like it's just doesn't work like that.
Drop shipping's all you see on TikTok and everything like that, though, isn't it? So they make it look as easy as pie, but I doubt it is. I mean, it's not something I'm interested in, but I wouldn't like to get involved with drop shipping or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like I know dropshippers as well, and they make bank, but you have to put in a lot of money to make bank because it's like a store, right?
Exactly.
Whereas an agency is a service, so you don't put in your money, you put in your time.
Yeah.
Which is why like I'm a big fan of it. But yeah, even when I first started, like I didn't see a single penny for like 4 months. Like I was just trying to sign clients for 4 months.
Yeah.
Before that period, I think like 90% of people kind of quit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if anyone kind of goes past that initial stage, I usually say like 4 to 6 months, it's impossible to fail.
Yeah.
Because it's enough time, considering they are actually working on the right things.
Yeah.
Which is what we try to teach in the academy and stuff. But it's hard to fail.
Yeah. Putting in the time's the most important thing. It's like anything, isn't it? Like you mentioned YouTube, like some of the best YouTubers in the first 6 months to a year weren't getting views, weren't getting monetized, nothing like that. And then once like they'll have that, as you mentioned before, that viral moment where they take off, and that's just like, I know YouTube's like a very different topic, but it's like it's the easiest one to put like an example on, isn't it? So it's like anything, like no matter what job you do, the time that you put in is determines on how successful you are in that area. So it makes a lot of sense, and having somebody like yourself kind of helping you along the way as well. I know it's just like the foundations, then you've got the one-to-one stuff as well on top of that. I think people can only benefit that like from that, rather than kind of not, because everything you've learned along the way you can give to them. So you would have went through all the trials, tribulations, made a lot of mistakes along the way,
100%.
and you can share that experience with them.
Pretty much, like it's just pretty much, if you can imagine, like back in the day, people trying to go to a destination through making loads of different turns, using maps and stuff. A coaching program or mentorship is just like a sat nav. Like it's just going to give you a direct way to get there based
I
off
like that
results.
analogy. That's a very good way of putting it.
That's the way that's the way I see it. And I still directly invest into mentors every single month.
Yeah.
And that's the way, like, I see it. Like, why am I going to make mistakes when someone's already done it before me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how we kind of apply it.
No, great. I'm gonna wrap the kind of academy side of it up there, because I think that's a lot of like good information. And then for those who are listening and who are interested, like all I would kind of say to them is, if you're interested, kind of reach out to yourself, or if they do know anybody already like in an agency, and kind of learn from them and be patient with it as well, because obviously, like you say, nothing will happen overnight. Moving on to the agency side of things though, so what do you guys kind of, it's so like kind of broad this term, but offer the models and creators in the sense of like building their brand, like building their income, stuff like that? Do you help them? Is it the clients you help? Like how is it you guys benefit them?
Yeah, so we do like a full management service. So we pretty much come in and take over the whole account. So we have a team that manages the account, talks to the fans, sells the content, all that stuff. And then we have a team on the traffic side of things that does the social media. All the model really needs to do is just fulfill the content.
Yeah.
So way back when OF first came out, most models just really made a couple TikToks, shake their ass, and they'd make money.
Yeah.
It's not like that at all now. Like the industry's completely changed.
Yeah.
Like each kind of creator is a brand. So that's pretty much what we do. We kind of brand them in a niche, help them go viral on multiple platforms, and then we manage that whole process pretty much. And then then that directly turns to income. Like basically eyeballs results in subscribers. Subscribers is where we like convert into paying customers pretty much.
Yeah. Like, so basically what you do for them is like, say if I reached out to a marketing agency to help like grow this channel and stuff like that, you essentially do that for those creators in the OnlyFans space. And
pretty much, yeah. A bit more detail though, because I don't know if you've used OF before or not.
No.
But that's good. But if you haven't, it's basically like there's DMs, which is where all the money's made. My team's in the DMs selling content,
right?
And then my team is also helping the model post on 5 to 10 Instagram accounts, 2 to 5 Twitter accounts, 10 to 20 Reddit accounts, like on all these social platforms to help them go viral, which attracts attention to the OF, where my team will also sell. Because if a model does all of that, they can kind of grow themselves to 10K per month, which is great. But to go north of 10K per month, like they just can't do it by themselves. Do you know what I mean? It's just too much work, which is why agencies like me exist, or how OFM came about. Because it was really like a platform for really models and girls back in the day. Now it's made a platform for agencies, because now we can get involved and actually run an agency and help the model.
Yeah.
It's great because it does generally change lives, because some models just come to us doing a couple $100s a month. We take them to 10, 20, 30K per month. Like that's like life change. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And I actually had a OnlyFans creator on the which has just went live. Well, it would have been this week as we're recording this. Katie Shutt.
I think I worked with her. She used to work at Top, no?
I think she used to dance at Top, yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I probably know her from Top, yeah.
Yeah, so she's a creator as well, and probably should have done the 2 episodes the other way around, to be fair. Could have pushed that in your direction. But yeah, she was saying like she does like a lot of like DMs, and she does all that herself and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So just off the conversation we were having with her, because she doesn't like do any like collaborations, anything like that. It's just essentially toys like she kind of posts.
Mhm.
From your experience, do you think kind of there's a difference in earnings for OnlyFans models if they do kind of the more X-rated stuff, like collaborating with other like models, creators, or do you think there is a space for that like extra earning for people who do just do like individual stuff?
Yeah, so we basically in the space we brand it as like non-safe for work content or safe for work content, pretty much, right? Safe for work content will kind of get you to a certain point.
Yeah.
What that looks like depends on the models, like how viral she is, her social proof, how much followers, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Non-safe for work is pretty much going to help you scale like 5x faster.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because that's what like guys are paying for.
Yeah.
That's where the money is. Like you can sell 1 minute videos for like 60, 70, $80,
Right.
sometimes
Okay.
more. Imagine like you're a safe work model and you have someone offering $100 for a video and you don't do it. Like that's just money lost.
Yeah.
So for us personally, we only work with models that do non-safe for work because of
Right.
that factor.
Yeah.
But it just really depends. Like some models go in there just to make a couple $100 extra per month, or a thousand, or a couple thousand per month, and that's fine. Some like want to do it full time because then it can help them with other business ventures and real estate or like like stock markets or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Then they push a lot further. So it just really depends. Like it's just a platform creators can use to whatever they want to get out of it. You know.
Cool. Cool. Just from like the model side of it as well. So if there is any kind of listening to this episode, do you think in your business, because obviously when people talk about OnlyFans, a lot of people just kind of jump to the idea that it's women based, stuff like that. So within your agency itself, do you kind of see? I'm assuming that it would be probably more female based, but do you get kind of a lot of guys as well?
We don't have any guys, but we
Right.
have had inquiries. Like guys do inquire to work with us, or like I know agencies that work with guys. We only work with models. We just
Right.
kind of cracked the system on how to brand them and how to help them go viral.
Cool.
Guys is like a whole, not a whole other business, but it's like a whole other segment of the business. Do you know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
different customer that we're targeting. Like with girls, we're targeting the same kind of customer. There's obviously different fetishes, which is a whole other story, but same kind of customer with girls. The easiest way that I've seen to scale business is just have your way to scale that systemize it and just duplicate it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we've done with our models.
Okay.
We do the same thing with like my ads agency. We work with one type of client. We don't offer a million services. One
Yeah.
service, one client, and just scale that up.
Yeah.
I'm doing the exact same thing in this industry basically. But yeah, there are agencies that work with guys and trans and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Cool. So, I mean, by doing what you're doing rather than kind of having like all these like different branches, it's kind of making you like that much more of a kind of expert in that specific kind of area in the business as well, isn't it?
100%, 100%. Because then you can systemize things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I have a team. I don't do everything myself. It's impossible.
Yeah.
But when we have like a straight line arrow on how to get a model's results, and that's documented through systems and processes, Loom videos, all that kind of stuff. Like I can just give an instruction manual to a team member and be like, follow this, because
Yeah.
we know it works. When we add more variables and complications, it then becomes like, we're just shooting in the dark a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's how I've kind of scaled the agency, just having like a direct system to generate results.
Yeah.
And just rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat.
No, I like it. And with the team members that you've now like kind of hired, because obviously as you grow, you naturally have to. Do you kind of hire on experience, or do you kind of train them up like when you've employed?
Great question. It really depends because each role's different.
Right.
For instance, a certain role like chatters, for instance, like I look for experience because it's sales, right? They need to know how to sell. But if it's like a virtual assistant on doing Instagram posting or like sending trends, like I can train a fish how to do that. It's not that hard. So it just really depends on the exact role.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really depends on the role in a nutshell. But most of the time, I look for like work ethic because I can we can teach anyone anything really. Because I'm not a surgeon, right? I'm not
Yeah.
a mathematician or a banker. It's just literally marketing. You can teach that to most people. But it's just a work ethic because I can't teach work ethic. Do you know what I mean?
it's got to be on that individual, isn't it? Like if they want to be there, they can learn marketing. Like I used to work in marketing, and it's not easy, but it's not the hardest skill to learn if you want to be there. But it's about
Yeah.
getting people who want to be in that kind of area and do that kind of work.
Exactly. It's like, you worked in promo, right? Like, I don't know how you guys worked, but top on promo, if you bring in, there's an unlimited amount of people, you get paid unlimited, technically. So if I bring in 100 girls, I'm getting 100
Yeah,
pounds. Do you know what I mean?
exactly the same. Yeah. So
It's the same. Like my team, they get paid a base and a commission. So
yeah,
if they hit their commissions or hit their targets, like they can make, infinite technically.
yeah, yeah,
But then the agency makes infinite. It kind of rolls through.
yeah,
So I pay them the exact same way as I like to get paid, because that's how I kind of thrived.
yeah.
Do you
No,
know what
definitely. Because I mean, certain people having that commission base as well is like that sales factor, isn't it? So if you're sales by nature, gift of the gab, then you can kind of like work from there as well, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we do like base plus commission because I think if you've gone purely on commission, it's like you have no safety net, right? So I
Exactly.
make sure my team has that safety net so they don't have to really worry.
Yeah,
But then the infinite side of things with commission, which is how we all paid at promo, like we had a base and commission.
yeah,
I've kind of brought that back throughout this process, really.
yeah,
It's crazy actually thinking about it. But I had the same process basically as I got paid in top.
yeah. Fair enough. Just touching on the commission, there's a lot of, don't know if you've seen them, but like these marketing companies that you might get a lot of students like applying for, where it's just door to door sales essentially, and that's solely just commission based and not like no base salary. I think having that base salary for employers is a kind of a driving factor as well, because I know that if they don't kind of hit certain sales that month or whatever it is that they're getting the commission for, then they know that they're not kind of shitting themselves essentially for paying the bills. And I think it having that, working for a company like that that kind of supports you at the same time, it gives them that extra little bit of motivation and driving factor.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's also all about incentive, right? Like,
Yeah,
if you can make more money as a business, why would you not want your team to have a part of that? It could be a small part, but they feel like they're growing with you.
yeah,
You're generating better results for your clients because your team members are working harder because they're going to get paid more. It just flows through very, really nicely.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But we've stuck with it ever since, really.
Nah, I love that because it also shows that you kind of haven't changed as you've like kind of progressed like throughout like business and entrepreneurship as well. So you
Yeah.
get a lot of obviously business owners once they hit that top level, they kind of don't want to share the success, but like it's good to hear that you kind of still want to share that success and share that with the team as well.
For sure, man. Like, team is everything. Like, I can't do what I do, or we can't do the numbers we do without the team
Yeah,
because I can't do everything, or no business can.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if you look at all the businesses that are doing well nowadays, they have incredible talent. Like,
yeah,
my job pretty much day to day is like client relationships, making sure clients are happy, but it's
yeah,
pretty much just putting like the best bums in seats. Like,
yeah,
can
yeah,
I hire the best Twitter expert to run Twitter for my models to get the best results and just let them do their thing? Like, that's pretty much my job nowadays.
yeah,
And then can I train them, mold them into like the A team player that I know works well for our agency?
yeah.
That's pretty much what I do. So team is everything in an agency, let alone businesses.
Yeah. And when you're on about client relations there, so one of the questions that I was kind of wondering, obviously don't want figures or anything like that, but say a model did come to you kind of wanting to sign with you guys and stuff like that, do you kind of take a upfront like fee to begin with and then commission based off that? Like how is it that the pricing works? Just if there's anyone who's watching the episode.
Yeah, so we do 50/50. We don't do any upfront fees or anything. So it's just 50/50 net because there's gross and net on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
OnlyFans take a percentage. We just do 50/50 net. Some models we do 60/40. It just depends. But I'd say like 90% of clients we just do 50/50. So
Yeah.
if we scale them to make 10K, we take 5K pretty much in a
Yeah.
nutshell. That way, like, that's why I say with the team. So the more we scale the model, the more the agency makes because we have a piece of the pie, but the more they earn also. So it flows through nicely.
Yeah.
But yeah, we pretty much just work 50/50. We don't do any upfront fees. We have like minimum daily requirements that the model will need to commit to. based on what we know that works. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Cool. I just want to ask a question because a lot of marketing agencies outside obviously that space is rather than work like going off percentages like yourself, it's like a flat fee of like whatever the price is depending on obviously the agency. So I always think that way is better because there's more motivation for the obviously creator, but then there's more motivation for obviously that agency as well. Where I think from stories that I've heard of, I wouldn't say like proper influencers, but like micro influencers, when they've kind of just reached out to agency, they kind of get like pushed to the side, even though they're still paying that like flat base rate, and like they concentrate on like the higher earners and stuff like that. So I think having that percentage is good motivation for obviously agency staff as well as the like content creators as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about incentive, really.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally all about incentive. Like an agency, of course, if someone's paying you 100k a month, if someone's paying you 10k a month, you're going to focus on the client that's paying you the most, really. It's just incentive if you have that deal in place. So, yeah, that's very normal. It's very normal in the OS space as well for models to get scammed and stuff because there are so many dodgy agencies out there.
Yeah.
Because it's not really regulated. Like, you can tomorrow start an agency. Like, no one's going to check your certificate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do feel for models in the space because there's a lot of dodgy agencies.
Yeah.
I think that's why I committed to the YouTube stuff because I like documented everything from when we was first doing our first 1k per month to scaling models quite heavily to media models. Like I film myself media models, building relationships so they can see like we're actually genuine.
Yeah.
And that's just been a game changer with like getting inbound leads. Like we have like a 20 model waiting list now just because we can't take on any more models.
Yeah.
But that's just purely come from YouTube.
That's amazing to be fair.
Yeah. Not every model's a good fit. Not every model will make money. But like those inbound leads just come from just documenting. Do you know what I mean? That's how I kind of set ourselves apart opposed to the next agency. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like commission base works really well for OFM.
I love that, and I like how you mentioned there as well about not every model works for you guys because you will get a lot of companies like not just in this space but like everywhere who will just take on clients for the sake of taking on clients, and in truth to it is they either probably not right for that client or the client's not a good fit for them as well. So it's great to lift like that you kind of are like not picky but you kind of do your checks on who you do sign as well.
Yeah, of course, because like obviously I have a team now, so for me just to bring on one model, I'm already down like a K or so in team cost.
Yeah.
So like I need to be 100% confident that we're going to scale that model. If not, like I'm just losing money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't always make sense to just bring on models for the sake of bringing on models. But if they're a good fit and we've seen them work well with same niches of our current model roster, yeah, 100% we bring them on.
Yeah. No, perfect. And one thing I did want to ask, but after like speaking to you now, the answer is probably going to be no, but just because of how busy you are. But I was going to say, would you ever kind of get into any other kind of marketing, so like influencer marketing and stuff like that, or are you kind of just set on this now? Because going off like the amount of stuff that you're already doing, I think kind of the answer to that question would probably be no, because you're a very busy guy.
Yeah, no, not really, to be honest with you. Just because I don't need to, right?
Yeah.
Like the OF space, like we get paid the more we scale our clients.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really need to start a new business if I just focus or double down my time, energy, resources into our current clients. We will make more because there's no ceiling, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really have plans right now to have an influencer agency or anything like that. I have plans for business later on down the line, but it's a completely different story. But yeah, pretty much like the marketing stuff is like what I'm gonna just stay in right now, really.
Nah, makes total sense as well, mate. Makes total sense. First of all, thank you for obviously discussing those kind of topics as well, because it's a very, when I messaged you as well, it was basically because I seen your personal brand, and obviously we've had each other on social media for like a little while now, and seeing how well like the channel's doing and seeing the personal brand was the main factor of me reaching out, because probably like a lot of guys who are watching this, or girls as well, I didn't really have a clue about the OFM space and stuff like that. Seeing how well obviously you guys were doing, and for me, this channel is about kind of opening up people's eyes about things they might not kind of be aware of, and also obviously showing people's struggles and stuff like that. So I just want to say thank you for obviously your time coming on and obviously opening up about kind of Only Astra Academy, Only Astra Agency, and obviously in Vogue as well.
Bless. Thanks for having me.
Moving on, so 3 questions that I do ask everyone on the podcast. I don't know if you had time to obviously read over them, only sent them today. But first one is, what do you think your biggest struggle is and how did you overcome it?
My biggest struggle now, or like...
Oh, was, sorry.
Was.
Yeah, previous, yeah.
Yeah, my biggest struggle was comparison, because I feel like I kind of got into online business a little bit later than most. Like I got into it like mid-20s. Like I was like 23 when I got into it. And a lot of guys in my space were like 18, 19-year-olds making like 30, 40, 50K per month. And I was like, what the... I don't know if you can cast, but I was like, what the heck? Like, how's this happening? So I used to compare myself a lot at the start, but especially for the first few years. And then I just got over it just by sticking in kind of my own lane. Do you know what I mean? Because when you... In the whole business world, it's all numbers based. Like, we don't have a trophy or a Champions League trophy or anything like that. People compare how successful you are by your numbers, like what you're doing, your revenue, profit, right? So I was just continuously comparing mine to other people, comparing it. And it was quite toxic, to be fair, because I was never really content or satisfied, which can be good and bad. But how I got over it was just by kind of sticking in my lane and just seeing like how I'm improving. You know what I mean? Just like getting my reps in. And then that just really started to compound. There's a book called The Slingshot Effect, and that's kind of what that talks about. Like, you're kind of slowly pulling the slingshot back, and all of a sudden, like, you really compound. My first year and a half in business was just literally slingshotting, and then I kind of really progressed when I got into the later stages of InVogue and OFM, because all my skills in InVogue just really compounded in OFM, and I made like 3 times more money in OFM. So I was building the skills. It's just like it wasn't the best industry for that, and then I just kind of fell into it.
Yeah.
But long-winded answer. But yeah, it was pretty much comparing myself loads.
No, it's a great answer though, because there will be a lot of people out there who will be like tuning into this, and who it's an everyday thing, whether it's business, like just personal stuff, everything like that. You've got that much social media now, like Instagram's the biggest one, I think, for this sort of stuff, and you're always comparing yourself with somebody else. So, no,
yeah, I agree.
100%. It's a great answer. And what was that book, the Slingshot Effect?
Slingshot Effect, yeah, really good.
I'm going to buy that.
It's good.
I'm into me reading now, so I've got a task to get on to 16 books this year. I'm slowly making my way through them.
Amazing.
So,
Amazing.
Yeah. I'll get that bought as well. Next one then. So, if you could invite 3 people, past or present, so alive or passed away, to a dinner party, who would you invite? So, can be anyone you want. I kind of do mine off people who influence and motivate me. So, who would yours be?
Yeah, mine would be Michael Jordan. Would be the first. Should I say why or just...
Yeah.
Why? Because he's an absolute beast in his industry, but then compounded into fashion with his shoes business and loads of other business ventures, right? So he didn't just stick at what he was labeled at.
Yeah.
Really like went into different industries, and I don't know if he's a billionaire. Is he a billionaire? Probably a billionaire. Multi-millionaire for sure.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he's not far off a B if he's not a B already. But like I would just love to just pick his brains. Elon Musk, because he's an absolute G.
Yeah.
But he's a weird G.
Yeah.
Like, to get to that level, you've got to be some sort of weird or psycho, and I just want to like understand how he thinks. Yeah. And the third person would be a guy called Gary Brecker, who's like a biohacker. Over the last year, I've been in a pretty big journey with biohacking, trying loads of different weird shit, like red light there, fasting, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. He just helps like all the big names in the world just become absolute superhumans, like Dana White, athletes. So I would just love to pick his brain and just kind of collab that dinner party with just pure knowledge.
Yeah. That's kind of similar to me. I'll not bore the audience with mine because they've probably heard mine, and it doesn't really change episode to episode. Yeah. But Jordan's probably my favourite one because I've never kind of thought about Jordan, but his business mind as well is fantastic because I don't know if you've seen the movie with Matt Damon in and Ben Affleck.
Is it called Jordan?
Is it Jordan? I can't remember the name, if it was called Jordan or not, but about the Nike contract signing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that, the aspects of truth there about obviously him turning like brands down and stuff like that to go with this basically nothing in the industry. It's like to back yourself that much as well. Like his mindset must just be phenomenal.
Incredible.
And then obviously his documentary on Netflix is amazing as well.
Yeah, sure.
So them three guests are very good ones. Final bit for the pod, mate, is if you could give one bit of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
One bit of advice for my younger self. I didn't see that question in the DM. Pretty much what I just tell like my peoples or my students or anyone I work with is just like, just really compound. Like, don't seek instant. It sounds so cliche, but don't seek instant results. Just compound. Like, go into something or industry that you know works because you see people doing it, and then just compound. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I said, like I went 4 months without seeing any results, and then the 4th month, my life completely changed. Like, I literally got it tattooed on me. Like that date there is when I saw my first ever client.
Is it?
1st July 2020. First ever Invo client, £1,000 per month. And that's when I first had like that realization you can actually make money online. Since that day, life changed. It took me 4 months to get there, nothing. So I was just compounded in those 4 months, and then like life completely changed. So I would just say just compound with the slingshot effect, and just consistency, I guess.
Amazing. No, once again, mate, thank you for coming on. If I'm being honest, I am still very surprised you're in the UK when the weather's this cold as well, because I know you were mentioning going to Bali when we first talked.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've got any plans away or anything for the rest of the year, but yeah, I'm surprised that you're still here with no snow and that's falling.
Soon. I'm going Bali soon. It's just a really busy period with Black Friday and stuff. It's
Yeah.
a bit irresponsible to be traveling now, but I am going straight after Black Friday. I'll be out. But yeah.
Cool. Now, again, thank you for coming on, mate. And just for those who are listening, obviously everyone on YouTube, your stuff will be in the description down below anyways. So just for everyone listening, where can they find you? What's the best place to obviously see your brand?
Yeah, for just general, it's just Instagram, Jermaine Francois, OFM stuff, just Jermaine OFM on YouTube. I pretty much document on both platforms. But yeah, you can find me on those two.
Excellent. So everyone tuning in, thank you for tuning in on today's episode. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you next week.